Alright, finally able to do this. Man, what's going on? Welcome to the live review of Music to Be Murdered by G Channel, man. Oh my god. M just released a new album. You know anything about me, you know I'm an Eminem fan. You see the guy peeking up to the corner inside. And with being that, you know there's multiple different kinds of fans. Any Eminem fan worth his salt knows that, you know, not all of them are created equal. Let's just say that. Meaning, what do I mean by that? What do you mean by that, G? Like, let's see. There's people who love Eminem, just know, oh man, he's just the best one, and like they'll say all these types of things. They'll happen to buy a lot of albums at Walmart. They happen to drive a lot of minivans and know nothing else about hip hop. They just happen to know that it reminds them of their nephew or something like that. So that's one rather fan where they'll seems like just a nice boy or this and that. You got other fans who are just obsessed. Yeah, may have gone through certain things. That's he speaks to a lot of people like that. But it's one of those things where you'll see you'll see them kind of just accept anything. And then you got hip hop heads. I think that's kind of where I'm in, because I love all types of hip hop, and I appreciate where my man comes in and he does what he does for the culture here and there. And definitely I understand where he fits. And a lot of people don't get that part. A lot of people just only see him going crazy in a video and cross dressing, doing all types of crazy stuff in there. And understandably, it is a way to get it a little mixed up out there, but definitely it's not fully what M. Marshall Mathers is. Because if you pay attention, if you've watched or listened to enough of his stuff, he actually does get busy. He actually does rap. However, because he is almost like a battler, at heart, he has certain problems to, in terms of songwriting in his later years. And like this latest album, Used to Be Murdered By, is almost like a response. It's almost real similar to how I am with the Star Wars thing, where it's a response to other responses of other things from beforehand, and they seem to be going on top of each other in a weirdly weird way. Although it makes for interesting commentary. So, when Music to Be Murdered By, obviously the whole motif, you got the whole horrorcore element that M is coming out with. I feel like this is almost like Relapse 2 or something like that, in that sense of like him returning back to that, deep, dark, red blood, all things coming out, but albeit now 10 years, 11 years later, he's now doing a more mature, heightened level of it with this Hitchcock type of motif type of thing. And that's cool, it's appreciated, but definitely it's not nothing new, especially even in hip hop. You got Biggie that did it, and we always have had some type of horror, certain elements of it. It's just M relishes in it, and we love him for it. So that's one thing I was like, I'm on board with the whole motif. Let's see how he kind of goes with it. So like first track, Premonition, my man's came off. He knows how to open up an album. Let's just say that. Although he doesn't know how to pick lady singers, because I don't know what this whispering not a good look, M. Sorry, buddy. And then, although he also has a self-awareness that I appreciate about him, there's certain things that is like, oh man, I sound like a better, like I sound like a spitter. It doesn't make any sense to keep going over it, because if he rapped and kept rapping about something else, we would respect it more than him kind of going over it. Because it used to be cool when he was self-referential. He used to make better jokes when he was younger and be able to self-reference, because he was the guy, to point that out. Now you're you're in a different level, homie. So it's one of the things where, you're not gonna be seen as that way. So you bringing it up means like, oh man, we got to you. And that's why he always falls for that okie doke. He's always been really sensitive in that regard. Anybody who pays attention to some of those beefs and stuff like that, it's like it's been really petty or pithy or anything like that. Like he's done that a lot. Uh, but back to the track, Premonition, he is rapping his butt off, and one thing I really enjoy about it is just him pointing out his longevity in the game, because he's really like, nah, I've been out here for like 20 something years, man. How you gonna say nothing and let me go? You don't say nothing to 2 Chainz, you don't say nothing to Jay, you don't say nobody. I'm like, yeah, like in general. But for what I'll say to that, as just a fan of music, Hove has always been Hove. Hove has always been, man, say what y'all want to say. He's always been the flyest kid in the room. This, that, and the way of the third. And he still is in some way, shape, or regard. And if you know what I'm talking about, you'll realize what I'm saying there. He's still one of, like, he's like, I'm so nice. I'm so Sean Carter. Like, he's still that kind of guy. M has always been I'm sorry, an awkward rap nerd. And he's still an awkward rap nerd, y'all. Like that's something I always kind of like got weird at when people talk about him. They're like, oh man, he does this and that and third. I'm like, well, yeah, he makes a lot of corny rap references and like, Camp Road says some stuff about trash and this and that and third. I'm like, yeah, you've been talking about this forever, like forever. If you like were worth your salt, you would like kind of like pay attention to those types of things. But definitely Premonition opens up the whole thing. It was nice, spooky tone setter to the whole album, and it goes right into the second joint on this album. What was it called? Unaccommodating, and that is like the title. I was like, whatever for me, but Young M.A. sounds at home on this, and that's what I like about it. Like Young M.A. just kind of starts off on there. She gives you the fly on it. You don't know, cause it's on now, and like I appreciate where she went with it. However, I feel M kind of snapped off. Like he's just like, you know what, it just it started getting good to him. It sounded awkward in the beginning, but I felt like he just started kind of getting in his pocket, and it was like, okay, there we go. So like very much so surprised by that collab. Could not have been happier about it. Like honestly, who would have thought that I'd be over here like, oh yeah, Young. Some of this is like, and I looked at the track list and I'm like, oh man, Young M.A. is on here. Like, Juice WRLD's on here, and that's the thing about it. It's like this is showing growth for him, and he's listening to certain things in a very good way, and I appreciate that. One thing a lot of people aren't appreciating is M's reference on unaccommodating to this to their feelings is him talking about him being like a Manchester bombing dude, and I was like, well, I've heard this man be Unabomber, I've heard him be Saddam Hussein, I've heard him be Bin Laden, I've seen him be literally Jason Voorhees, that's like his kind of his motif. You got Michael Myers, he said all these different types of stuff. He'll stab him, kill him, all stuff. Like he's liking himself to any and everybody who's done a horrific act. Jeffrey Dahmer, all these different types of people. John Wayne Gacy, all these other type of people. Like it was about a matter of time. I was like, okay, Manchester bomb, like that. That's a hell of a rhyme right there. I'm like, and I know how he works overtime. The guy's been out since like, at least in my regard, late '98. It's a wow, dude. And his flow changes on here. He just starts going bonkers on it. Like I said, like he got into his pocket after a while. Now, this next song, though, you gonna learn. I will say it's one of the things that a good hook, finally, a good, nice, well crafted, well sung hook that you can just kind of vibe in it, and that's why it's unoffensive. When it's a whole crafted record around, when you got an M verse and anybody else on there, it works. And let's talk about Royce da 5'9" for a little bit, y'all. Royce da 5'9" is amazing. Royce da 5'9" is dope. Royce da 5'9" is somebody that never gets any respect because, well, no one wants to listen to actual lyrical music until they're listening to certain people, a lot like an Eminem or something like that. And Royce is about just as good. Just about. Anybody who's a M fan knows about Royce is about like right there with him. Just about. Up and down. if you listen to Bad Meets Evil, the sequel, they are right there with each other. So it's one of the things where people who could say, "Oh man, I like lyrical man. Oh man, we listen. M will be like this if we supported. It's only because he's white and this and that." I'm like, we're black and we don't support our own like that. And we've made reference to this type of situation in white America on Eminem show back in '02. He's over here talking about if I was black, I would have so have. I ain't had to graduate from Lincoln High School to know that. Like, he knows the unfairness out there. So Royce has been putting in great work, and like literally this last album, Book of Ryan, nails. And I'm pretty sure there's like another one, and of course all the Prime work. Like, come on, man. Most people are like, what are you talking about? Who is that? Prime? Look it up. Anyway, M's bars on this one too. Like I said, they played off each other so well. When they get into a booth together, I don't know, Bad Meets Evil for real. It's just makes you happy. Just get you giddy. just get you giddy when you hit a bars, man. You just like, let's go. And that's why people always would astound me when I hear them. They're like, well, I don't listen to them. That's not third. And I'm like, I'll hear some, all right, let me hear what you're listening to. And like, it'd be like the simplest ABC, this and that, third. Now, okay, I enjoy Future too. Like, here's my thing about I like Future enough because I think he's like a melodic, he finds different pockets of melody and stuff like that. But we really let this man get away with and there's so many times in the club I be looking at people like, so y'all gonna get mad at this guy who's actually trying to do something out here, but and I understand just having fun and being cool. There's elements of that to music, but like some of that, it really irks me. Back to music though. Yeah, them killed this joint. And I'm Waterloo. He's talking about Waterloo, Wiki Faucets, all this other type of stuff, and he's just going off. Yeah, dude, he just starts going off and ratcheting it up, and the beat starts changing up. I'm glad he listened to it. Everybody's saying like, no, the beat changes the craziest stuff. So, you were just in your pocket, bro. Like, man, yeah. I think he really did find a good way of doing it. I want more joints like You Gonna Learn. And like, I don't know, it makes me think of the for M fans, they know about that D12 joint that leave that boy alone. That sound like leave that boy alone kind of vibes. And it's like You Gonna Learn, leave that boy alone kind of thing. And of course you get more of this theming of the album. That's another thing about him. His themes. He's always had really strong themes throughout his whole project, all his albums. Whether the first big three, is either his name or him putting on a performance and this and that and the third, to the for Eminem show and encore and all that stuff, to him first Relapse where it's all horrified and this and that and the third, Recovery, I'm Mr. Clean now, he's always had a very strong theming on each one, and this one is no different. So having Alfred Hitchcock's actual parts of music to be murdered by his original, it's like, might as well have fun. So here's where we get into the next song though. Those kind of nights with Ed Sheeran. This is the third collaboration with Eminem and Ed Sheeran, and third time we didn't ask for this. Third time we really didn't ask for this, y'all. I'm like, okay, River's okay for me. I didn't really mind it like that. Some people were like, oh, it's ear cancer. I didn't mind it like that. I thought it was just like, yet again, M kind of does a lot of these stories over and over again. But River aside, he comes on with this song, those kind of nights, and this is like, again, another bouncy little Club M. Club M is always weird. You ever notice that? How it's just like, yeah, girl. Every time he sounds awesome, yeah, girl, I'm a fly girl. And I'm like, it never really works. It never really works how you really wanted to do it. Because, like, he's awkward. He's an awkward white dude. I can't understand how people get, like, they want him to be Mr. Fly. I'm like, well, like, he's always kind of played himself to be that dude. You know, even next to Dre, he's like, "Hey Dre, I'm gonna kill it with the Hey bro, you wanna chill out, man? We being cool and smoking blunts and stuff, and chronic and stuff like that. Okay, well, weed is in me. I can tell you, I'm a baby mama in the back." And it's like, okay, he's always been this dude. So yeah, in the club, doing all these different types of things. You know, it was awkward on that Nate Dogg joint, Shake That. Even though I enjoy Shake That, in the beat and stuff like that, it was weird back then. It's one of the things where like he's done that a few times. What's the other joint on the first one? First Slim Shady LP. Come on, everybody. That joint is like Mr. Bouncy pumping and going. Now, I enjoy it for what it is, but I know this is not gonna get any pump in the club. If I played this, if I was DJing and be like, boom, 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 I'm like, no one's gonna look at me like that. It's got to be a certain type of crowd, where there's the minivans. So basically, no one asked for that, and this next song is In Too Deep, and it's one of the things where he does this thing yet again, where he's like, "And my girlfriend, yeah, girl, and it's like, what are you doing? It's like, what are you doing? Like, I don't understand what he's saying. Sometimes, like, it's funny to me. It's super funny to me when I hear certain joints like this, and this is the, you know, I'm creeping around my girl and this and that and the third. It's just another relationship plotting down the same way, the same paths where it's not going the way he wants to. Literally, somebody's not happy there. Now, the person that's singing with him is not that bad, but then you have him actually singing, and let's just talk about it. Eminem albums have always had this part where he just insists on singing, insists on doing the vocals, and it's like, bruh, you just heard it so well, but you can't sing. You It's frustrating, dog. It's so frustrating. Because you hear bar verses, 64, 32, 64 bar verse. You're like, you're like, oh my God, this guy's crazy. And then he starts singing or something like that. You'd be like, man. And so throughout this career, I've always known he's done that. Even though Not Afraid, he's got the bridge. I would look at people like, why is he singing the bridge? It was super. You know, that was a hit back then. I remember in 2010, I'm like, I was walking around campus like, dude, no, I cannot listen to that part. Turn it off before the bridge comes in, because he's singing. I'm like, he has this grating, nasally. Me too. It's not good sonically. That's what people get mad at. It's like. Although I will say certain parts of this joint, In Too Deep, is very commercial radio for Eminem. And I've never heard him over a joint. We're thinking about her? Boom. Thinking about me? I was like, this man over here sounded like he about to, I don't even know who will be featured on this record like that. But you know what I'm saying. It sounds like you could turn the radio and hear that part on. I don't like that. He's usually been the off-kilter kind of dude. And that's saying like he's conforming. And I get adjusting the sound, but he should never conform. Not conform. No. Adjust certain things, make it smooth, this and that. There's a way, there's a difference. There's a way to go about it, and people have done that for ages. 2 Chainz did it, Jay-Z did it. You want to shout him out, I'll shout him out in that way too. Cause yeah, I've talked about that for a while. Let's divert for a quick second. These other people can take direction musically because they have certain types of style. M has always been a gun that you need to direct. Like you need to direct him in a certain way to like fire off, because he's gonna fire and it's gonna go all the way. It's gonna go all the way. You better make sure that aim is dead on. And I feel that's what it was in the late 90s, early 2000s. Dr. Dre was locked in. He wanted Aftermath and everybody to just to go. He's like, no, the Firm album flop, all that other type of stuff messed up. Got 2001 in the chamber. Nope, Snoop is still rocking with us. This and that and third. This dude, this M dude. No, we about to make this money. I could feel that. I could see exactly that vision over time that their um, interests kind of gone somewhere elsewhere. You got beats. You got M getting his own stuff and getting bigger and bigger. And like I saw another way I feel that Revival messed up too because they the team behind him. He's this man's always had a team. Always, always. The, anybody who's worth their salt knows that Eminem is an amazing artist, but he don't know how to do nothing. A couple years ago, it was like, oh man, how do I do an email? Literally, how do I do an email? It's like, man, nah, man. So the fact that his team went down around him was one of the main reasons why he didn't have a good direction, and Revival came out the way it did. And then Kamikaze, he's just trying certain things, and then it's like, okay, now this one I feel like he's getting a bit more of a foothold just from hearing some how these collaborations went, but definitely, definitely not perfect by any means. Then you got the next album, next albums. We have the it'll be the next album. It's to be used to be murdered by, but basically the next song on it will be Godzilla, and R.I.P. Juice WRLD, man. Like honestly, I'm from Chicago. I only heard so much about him. I was okay on the collaboration with him and Future and stuff like that, but for real, just hearing where he went with the whole thing, how he collaborated with him. This is probably one of the better old school, new school kind of tracks that would, you know, there's collaboration tracks. Like honestly, I never heard a joint where I'm like they just sound so comfortable together. And I found out he was an M fan later after he passed, and I was like, oh, there you go. That makes sense then. He knows exactly where it is, the pathways that he needs to go with him to kind of come and make him pop and know his strength as well as what brings it all the way through. Because this song works for me. Godzilla works. I'm gonna put this on my workout playlist. I'm gonna put this on my joints. I'm gonna be able to be chilling now. I'm gonna be riding around a Godzilla. Hey, this is one of my takeaways that I'm like, yeah, this alright. Put this on there for sure. And it's because yet again a good hook. Y'all notice how a good hook around M sounds just immaculate. We enjoy that. And then, this last bit where M just goes bonkers, and of course, almost comically, to the point where you're just like, yeah, I know I'm just doing so much over here. I'm like, all right, dude. But then at the same time, you try and do it. A lot of times people be like, oh man, he just be rhyming. I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. Sometimes, like, especially like the Marshmallows LP2 era, when I was like, they're talking about Rap God and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, you're going to listen to that a few times. You're not going to just bump that. But I'm like, it's not all songs are going to be that club, I got a chick dancing on me type joints, man. Like, some songs are just spectacles. And I was like, Rap God is a spectacle. It's just a showcase of lyrical ability, and the fact that he's that mainstream to be able to show that at that level. That's my main thing I've always been okay with, like, with M's presence, where it's like, no, dude, he's still caring about hip-hop, and he has a huge platform. One of my main favorite joints from him was with him at the Grammys, when he was talking about like Master A, all these other type of people. He won for like the Eminem show or something like that. He's talking about everybody. I remember being a kid, like, man, like, like, okay, Master A, all right, Ken, it's not. I've heard these people all the time. Like, the fact that he laid it all out on one huge list for you, you're like, oh, well. And that's what he brings. He keeps pushing it, and that part of the end, he just goes crazy. And like I said, it's another showcase where you can't sit here and deny that this man can't rap. And then, yeah, and it's something I know he's been going into, like the breaking the parameter, so to speak, of rapping. A lot of joints where people are like, oh man, what songs you listen to? I'm like, well, I've been listening to joints like off of his was it Shady XV and this and that there, where he's Right for me. Right for me. That joint where he just sound like he just rhyming off the parameters, off the margins of the page, just going crazy. And like that's I feel like he's getting a little bit of there at that end part where I was like, oh no, he's starting to hone it. Cause he's a rap nerd, like I said, rap nerd. How that if it comes out all the way, if it comes out better, that's up to you. But you know, I feel it worked on Godzilla, and that goes into Darkness. Now, Darkness feels like a more of a heartfelt, activist kind of thing. He feels like he actually has a bit more of a heart about this whole thing because I know how people felt about Revival and how he's talking about Trump, he's talking about a lot of different people, and just seemed kind of like almost kind of like a cash grab or this and that third. And like yeah, he is rapping about this. Yes, this is his album. Yes, you are buying it or streaming it and this and that third. Man, but he cares about something. It's a platform. He's going to use it. Okay, sorry that artists start standing for something. Like I wonder was Marvin Gaye's what's going on? Was it free? Did they hand it out? Or did you have to buy that record? Anyway, just I just think about certain things like that. People like, well, they have to buy it. I'm like, they artists. They just because you used to getting everything free, stealing it anyway, don't mean you gotta. Whatever. We're saying too much already. Um, but Darkness, I like how he shows the line. He blurs the line right there. Where he's talking about the Las Vegas shooter, and he's blurring the line of how we all are separating ourselves from this dude. He's like, no, he was crazy, this and that and third, but he's like, no, I was loading up, taking pills, trying to, he was gonna shoot Kim and that dude that she was messing with, and this and that and third. He's like, yeah, he started talking about that in his verse, talking about a bunch of different stuff, and it's like, going down through Las Vegas's guy's vision. Now he's like showcasing just how slight, just that kind of jokerish, that one bad day kind of aspect of it, where you're like, oh man, he doesn't have to. It can go bad, really bad the next day, and you don't even understand what went wrong. But the guy just snapped and did a whole other act, and I'm like, I can appreciate how he, like I said, blurred that line. Did not have any what do you call it? Reverence for himself. Like he was unafraid. He was vulnerable. And it's one of the things where, yet again, vulnerable M is usually pretty good for M when it's done right. So that's the thing about it. Like a lot of these songs, pretty straight so far, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like he's actually listening in certain regards. Now, are they perfect? No. Some of these lines here, they are corny. That cornier line was so corny. Like a few other joints, just a little bit, like I said, the bittersweet line, like you're over here looking at him like you should take your own advice, kind of thing. Where you're like, all right, but ultimately, so far, it's better than those last two albums. And the next joint we got "Leaving Heaven," featuring Skylar Grey, and Skylar Grey is the bane of my existence. Usually, on a Eminem's record, like he usually, I don't know, he keeps working with her. They probably got like almost 10 songs together, something like that, and. I know. I guess she sounds good enough though. She can sing. She's not like she's a bad singer or anything like that. I just feel like he has her do really whack, tried type of songs or riffs or whatever have you. I'm like, this sounds like 8 songs, and I'm like, you really gonna have her do this? Let her go, let her rock. But honestly, even Heaven joint, one thing that has to be said about it is. That wire to wire, man, he is not like his dad, man. Like I was like, man, he really went ahead and just went all the way. Said I should dig your grave up. I should spit your. I'm like, dude, whew. Oh, I could not. I could not see just like how crazy that was. I'm like, this is a bit much, but understandable. Guy left when he wasn't even like 1, so understandable. And yeah, it's pretty passable. It's one of the things where I'm like, I'm not here or there. I say it's pretty boring. With the Skylar Grey verse and stuff like that, Skylar Grey hook and stuff like that. The verses are functional, And like I said, if you have some anger to get at, I guess if you had the anger daddy issues, then maybe that's perfect for you. That's what I'm saying. M is always about catharsis. He's huge into catharsis. Ever since The Way I Am, I've always been like, man, this guy's really good. Like it's like he really knows how to get at people in this thing. And sometimes I feel like some people saying, oh, he writes this and that and the third, or he's talking about the same stuff. Sometimes some people need some of these joints. Sometimes some people need some of these songs. So like, who knows? Who knows? This might just be that filling in the void. But like I said, it's baseline. It's on the fence for me. Then we go into Ya Ya. Now, this is where I'm like, okay, this is cool in a lot of different ways. Like Ya Ya is just that hip hop crazy head, like, oh, type of joint. You and your friends in the cypher bouncing around type of joint, and like it has that feel. And that's why I love the record, but I also hate the record because if you ever did that and you came up with like a hook on the spot or something like that, it's not gonna sound like the greatest hook in the world. Sometimes it's functional, sometimes it's just kind of whack. Sometimes the first part's good, sometimes that second part sucks. And I think that's what happened with Ya Ya. First off, like I feel my ever so original, so it's kind of cool. Past miracle, and like, all right. But I'm from Slaughterhouse. Check yourself. I see you say you better wreck yourself. It's really self-referential and really, I get it, rap nerdish. It's really cool in that sense, but nah, it doesn't really work on repeated listens. It doesn't work on repeated hearings even on the same track. Like on first time hearing it, like you don't want to hear that every time, even no matter how good these guys' verses is. And the verses are nails. I'm telling you, you got everybody on there. You got Black Thought on an Eminem record. Like I said, some of these joints he's listening, he actually getting certain people on here. I'm like, thank you. I want to hear them trade this back and forth, this and that and the third. You got Royce yet again putting in work again. Like I'm saying, give him his respect on his name, Royce da 5'9". You got Q-Tip doing the little my average imagine now, the whole thing. But like I said, this Slaughterhouse, check myself, that whole part ruins that. No matter how killer these verses are, because they are so killer. But if I'm bumping it in my car or something like that, I don't want to hit that part. I want to cut it out. Okay? It's like a rap nerds collage, but it's like it's just messed up over there. It's too much. It's not always the smoothest. It doesn't always go down smooth at all. And oh man, I'm really enjoying how he has just so many spitters on, and he put Danon on here too. Like, man, come on, he most of D12 on here. He put most of Slaughterhouse on here except for Joe Budden, which we know why. We know why him and Joe did not get along. And like yet again, that stuff goes back to that whole stuff that I'm talking about. M has a lot of times where I'm like, he really just said some true shit, even though he was harsh about it. Like, but I think Joe just didn't understand. Like, he should have called him on it. He shouldn't have been on Everyday Struggle doing that. I digress. We get into Stepdad, and got this kid getting his ass kicked in the beginning part, and it's messed up. It's awkward, yet again. But Stepdad, abuse Stepdad, so there you go. And the Stepdad's one of these joints where I feel like he should have made this earlier. Like, this should have been on an earlier album. Like it's totally in his wheelhouse, and I think that's the problem. It's totally in his wheelhouse, but like it should have came out forever ago. Like, this would have been served him better in like the release of the Marshmallows LP2 era, or like a lead up to that, or something like that. With like similar song like that, so much better joint on that same album. That same kind of angst. He knows how to capture teen angst better than anybody. I don't understand like just how he just stays in that mode. The guy's like 47. And I'm like, because even I've listened to him, like, dude, you're still mad. But stuff like that Stepdad joint is really very much so yeah, all the way through and through him. All the way through Eminem. But can't say that's like the joint you'll come back all the time. Like, you had to get your effect years from beforehand. But like again, like the last joint, most likely is gonna speak to somebody. Someone's gonna have some problems with their stepdad. It happens. So this next joint, Morsh. This man got Morsh. Now, this I'm still on the fence about this joint too, I feel. Like it's kinda like I think I like the vibe sometimes, other time I don't like the vibe. Other times I'm like, M is kinda ripping off Lil Wayne here with this whole Martian joint. Like, cause I'm like, if you just do this whole Martian joint, like I think yeah, he's just kinda ripping him off. I don't understand. I can't understand it. Although the beat, like he sounds like he's he's like at home over this sound band. He sounds really fun, like he's having fun over it. One thing that's cool about it, like yeah, his verses are nails on it. Like I will say, every part of it is cold in that sense, but I just don't like that he kind of ripped off Lil Wayne on that sense. I'm like, dude, you're kind of a jerk in that. Kind of being a jerk right there. So yeah, yeah, it's one of the things where nothing wrong with it that much, but maybe it's just getting through, getting through it. Maybe that and the hook is just, yeah, the hook is just only so much for me too. Then we go into Never Love Again, and I don't like this joint. I really don't like it. Yet again, he's singing. Yet again, he's doing his whole, oh man, whining joint, and like he's not getting past certain things. Like, I get it. We all get it, and we've all gotten it for so long. But it's one of the things where like he has probably 40 songs like this. That's probably the reason why it just feels so unnecessary. So unnecessary until it gets to the last part where that beat change. That's the only part. That's the only time I'm like, yeah, hey. If for some reason now the hook sounds dope because it's beat trend. I remember what was mine, yeah, and he just goes off and he's like, you know what, whatever, girl. And I'm like, all right, that's the M we all know and love. But that's something about it. You have to wait too long. You have to swim through a pink river of razor blades to get to this heaven over here. And I'm over here just like, it's terrible. It's like I'm like and I was like, okay. Help. Over here jamming but bleeding out. Then this next song, Little Engine. Dr. Dre is back in the building because I hear all types of influences from back in the day. Little Engine is just like, this might as well be like early 2000s, like a mud. He has this chainsaw flow, this chainsaw hook. The engine go, get an engine go, get an engine go. And like he always loved that. He's always loved doing that. I don't know. This is a song where I want to see him in the booth. I want to see them recording it because it sounded like it was a lot of fun. Seems like it was a lot of fun, bro. I could not understand how he got off on this one. And yeah, he sounds way more comfortable. The crazy scene on the narrator, the Pharisee, the Pharisee, he knew what he was doing. And I love how he's just making fun of himself too. Like earlier, he made a whole that I'm panicking, I'm panicking. He understands what he means, but he's like, I'm still gonna be me, man. Yeah, he definitely Little Engine straight with me. I'm all right with it. Yeah, the beat's probably where it's like yeah, Dre's is crazy. It just sounds better over Dre beats a lot of times. As much as we try to have him do different stuff, which we have him do different things, like in this next joint, Lock It Up, with Anderson .Paak. And Anderson .Paak does it, for the win, man. He knows exactly how he goes over the hook. He ain't do nothing wrong. It's just a nice change of style. Although some people will not, I feel people will reject this one, but I don't know. I like how M came in on it. Like, it was kind of cold. Like, let's see if I can go to it real quick. Yeah, he really came in out of nowhere. but still in the post with and post with and the post with it. I'm like, yeah, he went crazy off it. He went crazy with just coming off, like it sounded like they're like having a jam session, and he just comes up, hi y'all, and just does his whole little thing. So maybe it's a little bit too much of a change for certain people, but welcome for me. The next joint though is so bad. Farewell. Farewell. This weird ass Jamaican sample they got in here. I can't stand it. How awkward do we need this to be? He's already awkward enough, y'all. We and again, like it's Drake is weird and he does his like, Jamaican patois, like tropical flavors joints, but M over this tropical flavors joint here is bad, y'all. It just does not work. This hook, this singing, feel my set. I'm like, bro, he out here simping hard on the subject matter. It's just been the same entire subject matter. We've been hearing this forever. Him being the loser, being the joint that's getting fucked over, the one who's the other dude, and you're messing around, fucking with girls, fucking the other day, and it's like, we get it. And maybe yet again, like I said, this is for someone else. Like he writes this, but they have 40 songs already in him, and it's like I always feel like, why is that so in your heart that you need to rap about that particular stuff all the time? Like every time it's love, it's bad. Every time, it's like every time it's bad. Like I can't ever understand why I can't ever have a good date. Like, please have one good date in. Let's see. And then, yeah, I just don't want to talk about Farewell no more. Like, I'm just going to stop talking about it because it upsets me. That's how bad Farewell is. But No Regrets is the next joint. And this one's whatever. This one's like on the fence, I feel, too, for me. Although, it's kind of that cool, riding down the road kind of music. I mean, the song's called No Regrets. And I feel like this is kind of his No Apologies Part 2 kind of joint. Where he's doing, if you ever know anything about him, that Shady Eminem presents the re-up back in like 06. That No Apologies song, that freestyle came out, that same kind of downbeat, but it's now more mature and he's older and stuff like that. I like the flow he did on this one. It's real killer. It's real like, I'm in this, but like, it's one of the things where I feel so terrible, man. He really doesn't like his progenies. He doesn't like his kids, man. He dissed Tyler, dissed Earl, dissed MGK. He dissed everybody that was his kids, essentially, that were his own, kind of like people that would come out from him, like and stomping them in the head, essentially. And it's kind of sad to see. You want him to like kind of, be able to like be on records with Tyler and stuff like that. Being on records with, I would love to see Eminem and Earl Sweatshirt go back and forth. Are you kidding me? Come on, like, come on. And it's like, I wish he wasn't like that sometimes. It'd be like, I know some of that part of that fucking is the reason why we love him, but part of that fucking is hurting him as well. We do not want him with nothing to say. And I feel these kids, these young kids, Tyler, all these, they will find a way to do it. Juice WRLD is now gone, y'all. We don't have him anymore. No one can just push him out of his phone like that. He can get uninspired really fast, man. And we've seen that. It's called revival. It's called, encore for some people. It's called a lot of different stuff for certain people, man. You're in the same joints. Now, testament to him to be able to find a way to say it 50, 60 times. But imagine how much more he would have said if he had better subject matter. Imagine how much more he would have said if he had different stuff to say. Like, it just doesn't make sense that it's just now on the 10th, 11th album that we're getting so much collaboration through the rest of hip-hop with him. That is my thing about it. I'm over here like, man, Youngin, man, Juice WRLD, stuff like that. I should have been saying all types of stuff like that back in the 2000s. crazy. It's crazy. Except for just about 50 Cent and D12 or something like that. Like, that's all they did. And that brings it up to the last one on the one, where last song on the album, I Will, featuring, like I said, most of Slaughterhouse, no Joe at all. And yet again, this is like another cipher bar type of joint where like Yaya and I Will are two of the joints where I'm like, yeah, if you want to just hear people just rap, that's crazy. And that's what I'm saying. If you got two joints like that, you can't get crazy at him. You can't point at him and be like, oh, no, he loves hip hop. Like, I get so mad. I'm like, these songs are amazing in that sense. Not all things are perfect. Not all the bars are perfect, but no song is. Yet again, they're just doing a lot more with this. Yet again, respect Royce, man. Put some respect on Royce for 5'9"'s name. Joel sounds good to hear on their joint. Like Crooked. Ugh, King Crooked, man. Like I said, all of it just sounded good to hear over a freaking Eminem record. And then, like, talk about him just backhanding Lord Jamar. That was a nice little like, yeah, I think I remember that joint. So, like, you know, definitely appreciated the end of it. And the hook is okay, but yet again, he does that weird, that whiny kind of in the back of his throat type of stuff. And it's really frustrating to see that. So, honestly, take it as you will. I like the song. I like it enough. And this record, Music to Be Murdered By, is now, you know, it's in the can. It's one of the things where I'm like, I can say with the whole Alfred, you know, motif, it works enough. It's not so intrusive that I can just be like, oh man, you just put these sketches in there, no problem. It's fine. So, to recap, enjoy Premonition, the verses and stuff like that. It's a great style opener, unaccommodating. Young M.A. and himself came together rather nicely over it. You gonna learn Royce the 5'9" and M, Bad Meets Evil coming together over a dope hook. Come on. You got those kind of nights. Sucked ass. He needs to stop doing that. Club M, sexy Club M is not the wave, okay? Especially at 47 now, he is not the wave. It wasn't the wave in 2003, 04. And you see, when 50 was in the club, you was a scientist on the other side, okay? All right? You're not hanging out in the club. Right? Got a pamphlet with the doctor. What's that? In Too Deep. You know, very radio friendly, but why is he singing? You know, Godzilla, crazy, probably one of the dopest songs on here. Darkness, serious. I appreciate what he did with it. Leaving Heaven. I mean, yet again, it's kind of hateful, but if that's how he feels, that's how he feels. Like he said, he's never been shy of doing it or saying what he feels. Like, let it lie for what it is. Yeah. Awesome party joint, posse joint. A shame that the hook went that way. Stepdad should have came out on Marshmallows LP2. Doesn't have a place here. I feel like it should be some type of, you know, off joint where he just released it randomly and it's like a little mini movie or something, or, you know, he could have made a whole thing about it, and like we would appreciate it that way. You know, we appreciated Venom, you know, in that sense where it's like, okay, that's one off. Marsh is odd. It's just it's a joint where I'm like, and I feel like I said, you just ripped off Wayne, bro. That y'all's cool. Like, you know, something tells me I want to kind of have them collaborate again and do something with that. Then if you're gonna do that, should have put them on there. That'd been nice. Lil Wayne on there on Marsh, that'd been actually tight. Dang, that would have been nice. Never Love Again. Never gotta hear that again. You know, aside from like that last little bit, man. That hook at that last little part at the end when he turns up is the best part of that song. Little engine, very much so. like an old school throwback to the back in the day, but like it's nowadays, type of joint. So I do appreciate Lil Engine, Return to the Doctor, and feels like it. Lock It Up, okay for the vibe, very much so a jam session kind of feel that works in doses. Like I said, I'm not gonna always play it all the time every time you go through here, but who knows, when you're just bumping through, you're not gonna be mad at it. Eminem has his own little groove sometimes. If you listen to enough of certain joints, you recognize that, you know, Anderson wanted to bring that out of him, I guess. Farewell, terrible, man. It's like so bad. It's like, I really, really cannot understand why they put this hook on there, that Jamaican sample on there either. No Regrets worked out for me. It was just baseline. It's just baseline. I Will, solid ending. Good, great verses from everybody else. Like I said, he crafted it well enough that I'm not mad at it. I think it's good enough to keep going down this road. Now, he can make certain adjustments here and there, but especially when having these last two joints, because listening to Revival, I was like just sitting here with my head like, just to keep. I don't even gotta do a whole thing on it. I'm not gonna do a whole. You're not gonna make me watch it. No, listen to that whole thing again. No. So this is a Revival. This was Kamikaze, and now this is music to be murdered by. Like, all right, we're getting to a certain level with it. So that's how I felt about it. Ultimately, that's how I feel about a lot of stuff with him, where he has to find his footing. He is not bad. He's a good artist in a lot of different ways, but he is awkward because he's first off, from one of my main things about it is, like, since he's so huge now, because of he's gotten that crazy flash in the pan success, so many different fans that he's had to please. Like I said in the beginning of this, he's got so many masters to serve. He's got commercial radio. He's got hip hop heads. He's got people who want to do old stuff. He's got people who want to do something different. He's got it's the thing. It's the thing where, like, I do feel for him, because it's like a person, a different artist only has so many fans. So if they do something different and another person, like, it grows their fan base. He has the thing of, like, okay, it's so huge. If I just move to the side, everybody's gonna. No, okay, all right. If I move it to the side over here, oh my God, what are you doing? That's not how you like. So it's very much so in that sense of, we don't know how he's gonna be, and he doesn't know how he wants to be. So I'm glad he's finding a little bit of footing here. It's really refreshing, because if as a person who's been paying attention, a person who's been watching this whole time and observing, you know, he needs to be here along with a lot of other amazing MCs out there. People always talk crap about him, and it's one thing I think is so funny. Where I'm like, most people come in there trying to hate him. One of my main things about my first time seeing him was 8, and I was like, remember, even I had that for like half a second. Like, he's one of the main reasons I'm not prejudiced or anything like that. Where I'm like, I remember Hi My Name Is. It was like after Christmas. Somebody was like, I'm like, who's this white boy? And I like stopped. White boy, and I trailed off because he's over here kind of killing the verse, and I'm over here like, oh, what? Okay, dang. And that's what I'm saying. Some people kept that and said all the way, who's it, and kept that same type of energy throughout this whole time. I noticed when certain people talk about and have that reticence already with the guy, and I'm like, okay, how about we look at it objectively? You got some people who looked at it subjectively, in the other realm where everything's good. I'm over here just, they'll listen to Farewell like it's the best thing ever. They'll listen to it's the most of Revival like it's all great, and it's like, guys, no. Like, there's certain references that he's doing here and there. I can get the inside jokes, and that's a lot of things with him too. You have a lot of inside jokes with him, and certain fans are gonna get it. I'm gonna get it, but everybody else ain't gonna get it. The masses ain't gonna get it. They just think of him as Hi My Name Is, freaking Without Me, and Lose Yourself, 8 Mile type stuff. There's only so much knowledge befuddling because he's been out for so long. He's so huge that there's only so much about it. I've mentioned certain tracks like "Right for Me" and there are certain things like that where the joint with him and Busta Rhymes, uh, "Calm Down," almost said that stuff that my boy Sway said. The calm. Oh no, calm down. That is a song that most people have not heard of, and that's a song where Busta Rhymes and Eminem are going back and forth for like 6 minutes, 7 minutes, rapping their asses off. It'd been nice to have Busta on Yaya as well. Like what the hell? I don't understand what's gonna happen next. I don't understand how people rate music anymore. Because I've heard all types of pilled up, leaned out music that people are saying it's the greatest shit in the world, and then like I hear people saying where a musical person who's trying to like bring in lyrics saying, "Oh, this is terrible," and although we may have an awkward moment here or there, they'll totally dismiss total just non care of quality or anything that the latter person will come out with, and I don't understand that. I don't get it with music. People, people out here who talk about music because sometimes those people aren't music people. They'll just listen to whatever's shoved in their faces. Um, and for me, M is a super mainstream, but he's a super not mainstream guy that just is mainstream as hell. Like, cause if you hear how he like interacts with certain things, you're like, yeah, dude, he is almost like an underground rapper that's just like, y'all still like listening to me, like, sometimes the shit you'll hear from him. But that's essentially how I felt about the album. I don't think there's much more to say about it. Uh, I think it's fine enough. I feel that my man he's good. He's pretty straight. Put this on every time he starts writing raps, and we and we get that end result, man. Hopefully it keeps going down this path. All right, y'all. It's G. It's the G channel, man. Y'all be cool. Much love, and yeah, stay safe out there. Be cool.